There's different meanings as to what a goldsmith does and what their technical exposure and abilities are based on where you learn your skills as a goldsmith. And some goldsmithing schools, like Swiss and German and Swedish and English goldsmithing apprenticeships, are very detailed. They follow a tradition and build upon a tradition of hundreds of years with regard to tooling and metallurgy, all those different aspects that are really quite sophisticated and also fall into watchmaking and things like that. My background, where I began, I was born in Budapest, Hungary. My family has a long, rich history in Hungary. The family roots go back to the time of the formation of Hungary as a country itself over 1,000 years ago. And so, you know, when you have a family that's been around that long, you're going to end up being part of history. And so there was that in our family. There was knighthoods in our family prior to my father's. I was knighted really in respect for my father. He had been knighted by the Hungarian knighthood for bravery during the Second World War, for acts of valor. Our family had left Hungary under the threat of death from the communist regime. It was 1956. It was during the Hungarian Revolution, and my father was one of the pivotal players in the revolution. So we had to escape, and we had to escape in the middle of the night, which we did. The Russian soldiers came to our door asking for my father. My father told them, your guys were here 20 minutes ago, they picked them up. So these guys left, and we left with the clothes on our back. And we snuck our way to the Austrian border as best as we can. Our escape was the truck that we were in was identified about 15-20 miles before we got to the border. So we had to lose the truck and we had to make it the rest of the way on foot. We got to the border, the Russians behind us, they opened fire. The Austrians gave us cover fire, rescued us, brought us over the bridge into Austria at a town called Andu. So anyway, there we were. We got out of Hungary by the skin of our teeth. We made it over to a Red Cross refugee camp in northern Italy, where we lived for about a year, and then ended up immigrating to Canada. It's interesting how I got into jewelry design. I was, from a very early age, I was interested in artistic things and sculptural things and building things and curious about doing things that hadn't been done. And the architectural detail of the city I got pretty used to and really had an impact in my subconscious, because I see it coming out in my work, in certain architectural patterns and certain characteristics of this Eastern Europe aristocratic kind of thing that I was exposed to. Other things that I was exposed to were dead people on the streets, people hanging off of lampposts, violence, fear, darkness. One of the things it definitely did was it gave me a deep, deep appreciation for when it's not dark. For the beautiful and valuable things that are in the world and how beautiful and valuable they are. When you lose them, when you find them again, they hold much greater value. I knew that I needed to put my passion in the right direction, which was in art. So then I thought about how can I apply my artistic sensibilities, my ability to design, my ability to invent and create things that weren't around before. I decided to pursue jewelry because I was interested in rocks and gems and those sorts of things, and metals, and also in wood. And at that point, I decided if I'm going to do this, I'm going to get the best instruction I can get, because I want to be as good at this as I can possibly be and maximize my potential. That led me to Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada, where there were some amazing, at that time, back in the early 70s, some amazingly successful and talented Swiss and German goldsmiths and designers. And so I was able to become a part of that system and learn from all of these highly skilled master goldsmiths and the process they went about for designing and creating and making jewelry and goldsmithing. So I was privy to a classical type of training in North America, which is usually only available in Europe. So I progressed pretty quick, loved what I was doing, evidenced by the fact that I would go home and do